All right, good morning, guys. Hope you had a good 4th of July. We wanted to go over a few things this morning. One of them was last week, Rosalind, she mentioned meditation, and I've heard Shanoa talk about this too. One guy I really like, I've gotten a lot out of is his name's Aja John. So I put the link in the chat here to that guy. He's got like 2.6 million views on 4 ways to letting go. If you guys like any of that stuff, you might like this dude. And then below that, I put in our SMART goals. Just a link for a picture of that, just to summarize again, everybody can see what SMART stands for. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, right? So I've been doing really good with the SMART goals and setting these weekly. And I ran into a neighbor of mine at the gym last week, and he just started working out like 2 months ago. And he's telling me basically his SMART goals without knowing that he's doing SMART goals and how he's adding little victories every single week to get him where he's wanting to be. And he's having all this great progress just from like these little tiny additions and consistency. So it goes back into what we're doing with that. And I think a lot about the 80/20. And is everybody here familiar with 80/20? I'm guessing,
Eighty
maybe not.
do 20%,
Yes.
or 20% of the people do 80% of the work. That
All of that, it's everywhere, and it goes like 90/10. It zooms in and out, and it's like 80% of your outcomes are driven by 20% of causes. So like which levers do you pull in business? And I think it's easy to kind of procrastinate on what's most important. And like what's most important right now to us is we need to talk to sellers. We need to market ourselves to get in front of sellers, and we need to talk to sellers. So I find myself there's a lot of noise all the time on where to put my attention, and it's hard to like get out there and knock on the door or make that phone call. And I think I've read about this too. People do that a lot on purpose, kind of like procrastinate around what they need to do with busy work. So these SMART goals have been really helping me out a lot with getting to where I need to be as a big dog and getting deals. But so I wanted to hit everybody's goals real quick from last week. And I wanted to do an intro too with Gary. He hasn't joined us yet. So if you guys have any questions about building, contracting, anything, this guy's got like the coolest resume as a builder. He's helped us out so much. And I wanted to maybe have Gary speak to us a little bit on a full act meeting about just how to contract and talk to builders and whatnot. So we were talking about putting some questions together. Anybody has any questions, we could think of like a list and maybe come up in a couple weeks, have Gary talk to us. But awesome resource there.
would be
So we
honestly.
had I was just gonna hit everybody's SMART goals real quick, then we'll open it up. Rosalind, you're waiting on a leads list. She's not, Rosalind's not here, but I'll probably talk to her. So she was waiting on a leads list. If anybody needs some leads, we can get you leads for a few weeks for foreclosures. So just talk to us about that. Um, Mara, also,
Yes.
yeah, okay, you're here. So you were hitting your goals 2 weeks ago with the postcards, signed contract, and Frank started training people on Flipping Pro.
Yes.
But you were gonna go through the leads list from niche that I gave you guys. How was your progress on that?
I've been reaching out to those. Nothing quite yet, but definitely I liked it because we didn't see it on our other list. So I don't feel like I'm double doing this stuff. That and then I've been having some luck with hard work, right? But luck with getting some responses on substitute trustee lists, which we had never done before. We'd always just done the auction lists, so that is exciting. I'm hoping to get a couple signed this week from somebody we talked to yesterday, so we'll see.
Nice.
I have a question about your Flipping Pro. Are you setting that up yourself or do you have
That's
someone
great.
helping?
Yeah, I set it
That's
up.
a question.
I
Frank, you
set it up
set it
for us.
up?
Mm-hmm.
I may bug
Yeah.
you.
Frank's actually, yeah, working with Flipping Pro now, right? And get,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
actually, I had a well, it's really just a chat when we were up there, up in Dallas a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, I think, and then finally got in touch with TJ about it. I'm just sharing with him what my plans are and how I'm helping other folks. So, talked to a few folks from that Dallas call. I've talked to a few folks from like the Thursday call. They reach out to me. So yeah, I mean it's anything from tweaking and seeing what your setup is, how it's going. If you're, I know you're not new, Amy, so it'd be just kind of let's take a look at where you're at, what you're trying to achieve, and then all the way to like a done for you setup. Like so, for when someone starts, they're working a full-time job, they don't have time to set it up. I can work with them on what level they want to do.
Yeah,
So I'll give
because
you a
I'm
little
not using
bit.
it to its fullest potential, so that's
Yeah,
on my
that's what we're finding.
list.
That's the gap that I saw. That's what I got, and talking to folks who are like, yeah, it's great, but I'm not really using it. It's like, okay, well, you're spending money on it, and I know that let's see what we can do to help you.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a different perspective on Flipping Pro. It's built on Go High Level, and Go High Level has a current stance that they will never become any compliance standard compliant. So what that means, you are dealing with financial industry that's governed by the SEC in some capacities, depending on the content that you put inside of a CRM. You may be required to maintain SEC compliance with that data. In the event that Go High Level is compromised, hacked, and data is leaked out of Go High Level, you could be held liable for the data that you store inside of that product. Because the content that you store is your choice as to the product that you choose to store it in. If that's a cloud-based product, you're liable for the data that's stored in that cloud-based product because you chose it. It's not the liability of the vendor who created the product that's responsible for the data that goes in the product. So be very cautious on putting SEC compliant and regulated content in a non-compliant product, because
Yeah, I mean, as far as that's concerned, too, Kyle,
you're the one that's
there's no credit card
reliable.
information,
That's
there's no
liable.
socials, in there. So at least
Understand.
not.
It's
Yeah,
I'm giving you a heads up, because Go High Level is not, nor will ever be, even PCI compliant, which is the lowest level of product that they have. And
right.
they offer opportunities for you to create stores and online stores inside of their product, and they're
Yeah.
not PCI compliant. So
Yeah, for this, it's going to be public data, right? So it's emails, phone numbers, locations, or addresses, and there's no, up to this point, we haven't pulled any kind of credit card information or
yeah.
socials in that. There's a spot for date of birth, but I mean, by the time you get to there, you're already in title, so you're talking to title for that stuff.
And then Kyle, tech guy, in case anybody didn't notice that, you were working, I put in my notes that you had some contract bitch slappings going on back and forth with your big contract for 400, up to 400 doors, as well as looking for foreclosure leads. How's your progress on those going?
so uh I progress is going great on both. Contract is signed, and the asset has been scheduled for review. So that's all great praise. And we added another company in another asset in the progress last week. So that's all really good news. And started on list reviews last week. Didn't get very far in that, but had a phenomenal discussion and progress with Sean, uh, and
Oh, good.
kind of a great slap in the back of the head by Sean as well,
Yeah, he's good
in
at
progress.
that. Every time I
So
talk to Sean, I
so
feel
he produced a new list of questions that we hadn't seen So that gives us a whole new list of questions we're gonna start attacking with this list we just got.
Cool. Another thing with the 80/20 on my list, we've got tons of short sales. So if anybody wants to specialize in short sales, I'll feed you leads, but we don't do any of those. We've been filtering those out to try to stay in the 80/20 or stay into the 20% that matters. Josie, same thing. You were working with Kyle. Angela's not here. I don't know where Angela is. And let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. Nope. Okay. My smart goals were 10 door knocks, call 5 mobile home park brokers, and cold call. I got the cold calls. I got 4 door knocks. I could have pushed for a little bit more, and I missed my flight in the process, but it was a good couple conversations. So I need to call more brokers. I only talked to one, I believe. I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna get 10 brokers this week. I'm gonna start to door knock in Jacksonville this week too. I'd like to hit 10 doors, and then I cold call daily. So if anybody needs foreclosure leads, or even if I was thinking if you want to jump on and cold call with me, I do it in the afternoons. So it's kind of fun to do with somebody else, especially a female, because I suck at opening. I get hung up on all the time. And when I called with Angela or Jen, it really helped me to not get hung up on. But why don't we go with a quick intro with Gary and then Curtis and Kristen, and then we can blast through a few goals for each person. Remember, SMART goals should be something you get done this week that's hits all the acronym, and it should be completed in one sentence. So it's simple. But Gary, welcome, man.
Thank you.
Tell us about your building career a little bit. Give us like the 1 minute, 2 minute elevator pitch.
Oh man. Well, I've literally been building since I was 6 years old. Uh, I designed and built my first house when I was a teenager, at 16. And then after a short stint in the Navy, working on some fighter jets, I went back into building, and I've been building ever since now. So I've been doing it full time for over 30 years. Mostly in New England. I moved to Texas about 13 years ago. So I've built probably about 150 houses or so here in the DFW market. But I've worked on, commercial wastewater treatment plants, some high-end architectural metal work. We did some bronze fountains for the Arlington National Cemetery, some stuff like that throughout my career. Plus just numerous projects around the country. But I've kind of settled now here in DFW, focusing on home building. So that's the high level overview. I know Chad, I've kind of got to know him over the last few weeks a little bit, helping him with his contractor and his project, and just really kind of opening up, I guess, some viewpoints. I think contracting, like probably any other job, the two most important things you can kind of focus on is probably communication and expectations, setting expectations, and really it's not rocket science. That's probably true with any field, but some reason contractors aren't typically the most communicative guys, so it can be challenging. And then as investors, I'm new to kind of the investing side of it, so I'm kind of learning this side. But I'm noticing a lot of investors. I don't know if a lot of the new investors are thinking about this, but I think you probably want to ask yourself: are you trying to be a contractor also? Because it's a very different field. So if you're new to both of them, you're trying to do them both, learn them both at the same time. I just kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in and see if I could kind of help people with some clarity about what that looks like, what it should look like. No.
Yeah, that would have helped us going into our project. So he's trying to unscramble our egg right now. He's done a pretty good job of it. So it's half fried now instead of fully.
So
But
Gary, question for Gary. Do you do volume, like work with builders, or do you do custom, like your own designs? And sounds like custom, but
I do all of it. I have construction managers that work for me. I don't do much construction managing myself any longer. Well, I do, but I oversee them and I help them. So I've got a project manager and I've got some young construction managers that I'm training. So I think like fix and flips are really handy for me because they're unpredictable. New construction is pretty predictable and you can lay it out. And when you're training a new project manager, it can take a year to build a house, especially a high end. I'm building multi-million dollar homes, so that's challenging because of the time that it's not. There's a lot of information in building a new home with a fix and flip. Sometimes you got 30, 60 days, and just the volume of those. Um, is helpful for me to train them on because especially the unpredictable, the problem solving nature of those. And so I'll do a little bit of everything. I consider myself a builder. I don't I focus when I'm looking for customers or clients. I'm looking for people that are doing high end stuff. We do everything from design. I mean, we'll do land acquisition and everything. I mean, whatever we can help with whatever the client needs. But I'll do just about everything. So
Well,
I'm
also,
familiar with the entire process. Yep.
if you guys get a flip and you need a builder partner, there's Gary. So,
Yep.
um, it's just in the interest of time here, I wanted to let everybody talk real quick. But Gary, do you have any goals for the week, like smart goals or anything you want to accomplish and show up next week and talk about?
Um, I didn't really think about that going into this.
That's okay.
Maybe I'll think about those this
It's
week.
still a new group, so we're trying to like
Yeah,
get those every
I
week
gotcha.
a little bit more hard. But Amy,
Yeah.
I always like hearing from you. You're always doing good stuff. What do you got going on?
Well, my thing right now is I'm starting to get contracts. I've got 3 this last week, but now it's the dispo part that I'm not having much luck on. I tried to do one myself and I had to extend my option period, which they were agreeable to. And I'm partnering with Fazio now to see if what they can do with it. So get your
Okay.
contracts.
I was
Get
just gonna say,
dispoing.
call me, go.
I got another option if you want to give me a call or something. We're having a similar thing. We're trying to dispo our property now.
With Armando.
Yeah, did you talk to Armando?
Yeah, I met him in Dallas, yeah, at that event, and I had him down. This property's in Corpus Christi and Austin. I know they do everywhere, but I think they're more focused on here. So I decided to go with Fazio just because they are down there.
Okay. They told me
I
they
thought,
wouldn't do a 70/30 with me the first time, but Armando said he would, so I don't know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
smart goals for the week.
Mine's just being, I need to be more proactive, and that means more calling. I'm doing a lot of reaction, people who are responding to us. I don't know if I've told anyone in this group, but the program I use is called Hey Rafi, which is targeting realtors. So I deal with everything they say not to do, and that's where I'm getting a lot of movement. So you never know. I had a partner that asked me to join him on this venture, and I'm getting a lot more, but I feel like I'm neglecting the 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 other part. And so that's this week. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I wanted to get my Flipping Pro up so I could get that circulating. I already have lists downloaded to Flipping Pro. I just need to work those better. So mine's a lot of time on phone this week.
If you want
So
to
I
build
hope to make 20 calls a day at least to the warm leads, not the cold. I have a VA who's doing the cold calls, but the warm leads I got to follow up with this week.
Okay, cool. If anybody needs a VA to cold call, we're testing one right now. We're looking for more work. But hey, Joe, Curtis, you guys are working together, right?
Yes,
What you
sir.
got going on last week? How'd you do? What do you got for this week?
Well, I finally got my goal from 3 weeks ago accomplished. Curtis is the partner that I've been talking about for the last 3 weeks, and our goal this week is to get on the phones. I want to do at least 3 solid days of cold calling this week. And then I'm going to be calling you because I need to start talking about some lifts. And then, does anybody know if like Fazio or Grant or anybody like that, do they do nationwide or are they Texas only?
Nico does like nationwide as long as it meets the metrics for inventory. He wants hotter markets that move quicker if he's wholesaling.
Got it.
Yeah, I think Grant is also outside of Texas, but I think it's real limited.
Yeah, I think he's just Texas and
He's door knocker
Florida,
closer,
from what I
man. That's
remember.
his reputation, right? Door knocking closer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, good, man. I'm glad you got Curtis here and you guys are making some goals. Curtis, you want to do a 1 minute elevator pitch introduction? We can't hear you. No, it's a weird staticky.
How about now?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, so I'm kind of new to all of this. I was in sales, so I did car sales and I owned my own pawn shop and I
Nice.
ran that for about a year, and then I also ran another pawn shop for about 3 years. And I was down in South Georgia selling cars for a couple months. So
Cool, man.
I've
You
been,
should be a shoe-in for this.
yeah, I've been
Sure.
selling since I was 8.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My
Marketing coach
guy,
is former Tesla lead salesman, Brent Mott.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah,
yeah.
I was at a Ford dealership and it was nice, but the management didn't know how to talk to people. So that kind of ruins a good sales team.
Did you read Never Split the Difference? Do you study that stuff?
I haven't, not yet. I've been
I'm
following
bringing
a
him
lot of
into
like
all
Grant
that world.
Cardone right now.
Okay, cool. Right on, man. Well, if you want a really kick-ass video on like human behavior and whatnot that kind of comes down through our coaching as big dogs, it's Chase Hughes on Joe Rogan. Really awesome video.
All right.
Kristen, hey, you want to introduce yourself, say hi, and tell us who you are?
Hi, Kristen Stevens. Gary's my husband. We're doing this kind of together. He's got the construction side. I still work a 9 to 5, so I'm actually working at the same time being on this as well. But yeah, he's focusing more on the construction piece of it, and my daughter-in-law and I are doing the CRM part of it, the flipping pro, cold callings, text messages, stuff like that. So still learning a lot, trying to work out some kinks within the system itself so I can use it to its best ability. But the majority of that does fall on her since I am working a 9 to 5. So yeah, that's kind of just what I'm doing and where I'm at. So my goal this week would be to get the CRM straightened out, the lead list cleaned up and updated, and understanding that itself more on how all of that works in the system.
That one on Flipping Pro, you get a one-line dialer, right? So it's kind of slow. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons we went with Smart Dialer. Not trying to say don't use Flipping Pro, but again, if anybody wants some leads and jump on with me, we got the dialer. It'll do like 300 numbers an hour pretty easily till people start answering or stop
Right.
hanging on me.
Right.
Yeah, Wave Dialer is another one that's integrated with it. It's that's what we switched to after a couple months.
It's integrated with Flipping Pro, a new dialer.
It's yeah, it'll display the information from your 3 calls or your triple dialer. So
Nice.
as
Okay.
you get called, yeah, it puts it back into the CRM, so you can pull the
Another
list straight
thing,
from it.
if anybody does end up using Podio, when you use Snap Flip Bank and you get it into the tools.bigdog app, or bigdogapp.tools or whatever, you can push it to Podio. So we got that. So now everything that's going on Snap Flip Bank is going into a Driving for Dollars campaign on drip campaign for email and SMS. But that, I guess that right there kind of summarizes our marketing. What made our phone start ringing is the consistent marketing with cold calling, dropping voicemails, and then when we do that, we push it to our CRM, which gives us an email campaign and an SMS campaign. and door knocking's been successful too. We also found the notes. Does anybody have a message already crafted for door knocking? I don't know how many people out door knocking, but Grant kind of gave me this and then we modified it based on big dogs, but it's been successful. And my message is not to say foreclosure. And so it's like, hi, this is Chad. I stopped by because there's a notice of sale on your home. I can give you a roadmap for all your options for free. Please call me today. And then I write my number in chat. And also, if there's anybody who wants to talk to a door knocking coach, I know one in Dallas and she likes to talk.
Does
that's
anyone
really
know
good.
where the bird dog training is on big dogs?
Oh, yeah. It's the Profit Starter training module. Chris Salcido said download it and resell it to people for 20 bucks. Because he says if they don't have any skin in the game, they won't pay attention to it. But if they give you 20 bucks for it, they'll think it's worth more value.
Where was that at?
It's in the big dog training in one of those drop downs. I don't know if it's bonus materials.
Okay. I just couldn't find it. I was looking for it because I have someone I want to train on doing that.
It's definitely in there. I've seen it a few times, but I wrote it down. It's Profit Starter training module. I even have the note, sell to bird dogs for $20.
I found whenever we do our reach outs or even just voice phone calls, even cold calling, I just say options with regard to whatever the street name is, property. It seems to like kind of throw the, oh, I know I'm in foreclosure situation out, but like I have options to help you. I'm not just calling because they'll say like, well, I don't want to sell my house. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not calling to buy your house. I wanted to share options with you. And it just kind of seems to, the word option seems to, I don't know what it does, but takes kind of the heat out of the conversation sometimes.
Yeah. You got to put the thought into like breaking down that initial barrier and providing novelty. That was one of our first calls on here is like providing the authority and the novelty and the steps you have to go through for that with confidence in yourself. But if it's new, it goes basically to your mammalian brain and like throws you off and it wants to see something new and identify, is this valuable or should I throw it away? And that's what's made us stand out too when we're talking to sellers. They say, you guys are different. And it's a lot of the big dog stuff in the marketing. And I've heard half dozen times now, we're not talking to anybody else. We're only going with you. And like the lady that we closed last week, she's bragging to us, telling us she's gonna give us reviews and how we've saved them and everybody else can piss off basically. And so it's cool like that. Well, that concludes today's act. So if anybody wants to stay on, I'm free right now. I'm gonna stop recording.